This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, the vacationing one. After a great pickleball game, did you beat Tua in pickleball, or did he beat you?
I would definitely beat Tua Tagovailoa in pickleball.
Wow, damn! You even talk shit in pickleball. That is awesome. That's fantastic right there. Are you really a pickleball player, by the way?
No, I've always wanted to try pickleball. My
Me
uncle
too.
Steve is a professional pickleball instructor.
Who?
My uncle Steve. He
Really?
oh yeah, he's
Wow.
pretty famous. He's been in movies and commercials and all things, and now he's a pickleball instructor.
Interesting. And I'm with you, by the way. I've been wanting to try it myself. And I don't know, and maybe it's because we're getting older or something. Is that what it means? Automatically, it
It's
comes.
easier than tennis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seems like it's fun, and it seems like it's a pretty good exercise too. On top of all of that, but that was interesting to see him standing there with the pickleball racket and playing. Overall, your thoughts on his play so far through this bye week now for Tua?
Yeah, Tua's doing well. He's a developing, improving young player. He's obviously surpassed 100 passer rating in 4 consecutive appearances. He has 5 touchdowns and only 1 interception in those 4 games. So Tua's doing a nice job of taking care of the football, making good decisions. He's been extremely accurate. Obviously, over 80%, over 80%, over 70% in his last 3 starts. So a lot of reasons to be encouraged. You kind of almost wish there wasn't a bye week this week. You kind of wish that maybe it was earlier in the season after that London game. I know I could have used a rest after that trip, but hopefully the Dolphins take full advantage of the time and the rest. And listen, there's no reason they shouldn't blast the Jets and probably beat the Saints and move to 8-7.
No, listen. I mean, they got good news yesterday, right? I mean, not that I wish anything on the poor man, but Mekhi Becton wasn't even ready to practice yet. So if he's not even ready to practice yet, there's no way he's going to be ready for next week's game. So that's actually a really good thing in that sense because they're not going to get that monstrous tackle that is an absolute difference maker because that guy can move mountains with the size that dude brings to the table. So at least they got a little good news in that sense. The Michael Dieter thing, man. There's a part of me that it almost seems like it was a precautionary type of thing coming off the injury and playing the entire game. But when you see him in the boot, it could be that he re-injured it. You don't know. Have you been able to unearth anything about that, Joe?
No, I will say that, based on past experience, and especially in this situation with the bye week coming up, if he aggravated the foot injury or aggravated his ankle, the presence of the boot doesn't necessarily indicate a significant injury. So I would not overreact to Dieter being in a walking boot after returning. Obviously, he's an upgrade over the 2 other centers that the Dolphins have trotted out there, Mance and Ryder. So certainly we hope that he's back for the Jets game, and we'll certainly learn more on Monday when the team resumes practice.
Yeah, man. That's I hope I hope it's just a precautionary thing and they're like, "Hey, all right, you survived. Keep it in a boot for a couple of days to make sure everything's kosher and you're fine." I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm hoping. Did you, by the way, tape don't lie? Anything from the line that you liked at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think, anytime you say that the Dolphins' offensive line is making a little bit of progress, people jump all over you because it is true that there have been too many pressures, too many sacks allowed, and not enough rushing yards per game. But it can also be true that, young Liam Eichenberg is making a little progress. He seems to have settled down a little bit at left tackle. Austin Jackson is a little bit better at left guard than he was at left tackle. And Robert Hunt has emerged into a very solid NFL right guard. That's certainly a position you don't have to worry about. And you mentioned Dieter a couple of minutes ago. He's an upgrade over what we've seen. So,
What,
I don't mention Jesse
how do you
Davis.
play this week, Joe?
Yeah,
Dieter.
Michael Dieter was solid. The coaches and Tua talked about sort of getting that chemistry and rhythm and communication back to an ideal level. So it clearly wasn't perfect. But Dieter, I think, is a better player than Ryder and Nance, and I think he's better suited to center than he was at guard, in the same way Jackson appears to be better suited at guard than he was tackle.
Lindsay, what have you heard from Philip Lindsay? Obviously, they need a little boost there, and he was a nice 1-2 punch with Gaskin.
Lindsay did practice a little bit going into the last game, and so that's an encouraging sign. That tells me that he's likely to practice going into the Jets game. And with Patrick Laird going on injured reserve, and I know he's primarily a special teamer, but certainly you can use Ahmed in that special team role and then use Lindsay in a role where he gets more carries. Ahmed, by the way, he was a healthy scratch, maybe because he's not the best blocker. He wasn't, maybe doing as well on special teams, but he's got a little juice to him. I've always kind of wondered why we haven't seen more Ahmed.
Well, I mean, speaking of seeing more, do you think the Hunter Long appearance this week is a sign of things to come? Yeah,
my guy.
Yeah, but
they
you
unwrapped
by the
Hunter
way,
Long.
you would also figure it's Flo's guy, and he hasn't really. And I know they must love their tight end room. And listen, Gesicki's been awesome. What's it called? The other guy, the
Smythe.
blocker that's Smythe has really grown into the role. Anytime you need to throw the ball to him, it's not like he doesn't catch it. He catches everything you throw to him. So they have productive people, but at one point or another, you got to find out if the kid can help you out. Was this past week, do you feel it's a sign of things to come, or is that something it's impossible to get a feel on because of Flo?
Well, it tells you something that Hunter Long started and played the first, 5, 6, 7 snaps before we even saw Mike Gesicki. Obviously, Gesicki is a dynamic receiving weapon, really more of a receiver. But the Dolphins feel confident not just in Hunter Long's receiving ability, but his blocking. He's an inline. He's more of a complete tight end prospect. He might never be quite the blocker that Smythe is, or quite the receiver that Gesicki is, but better as a complete guy. And so I think I'm a Hunter Long fan. I like Hunter Long. I think he's going to be I think he's going to be good for the Dolphins. They should still at least franchise tag Mike Gesicki.
Oh,
All right,
for sure.
this doesn't mean we should move on from Mike Gesicki. If you can't get a long-term deal done in that $11-12 million range, you just franchise tag him and then sign Emmanuel Ogbah to that $10-12 million annual contract for 3 years or so. I would love to get Ogbah done at 3 years, $11-12 million. And then if you can't get Gesicki done for under 12, you just go ahead and franchise tag him.
I'm with you. You got to bring back Gesicki, and I'm with you also on Ogbah. I love what I've seen from Ogbah, and Ogbah is going to and as now that you've freed up Jalen Phillips, Ogbah is going to end up getting more sacks now from here on out, because Jalen Phillips is now going to get even more confident. Because let me tell you, Joe, you watch the tape. That second sack, the way he was eyeing the quarterback, and then the second he needed to make a move, he dispatched the tackle and just casted his ass aside and then went after the quarterback. Rookies don't do that, dude. They don't have the strength usually to do stuff like that. And for him to already have that kind of strength at this point in his career, I'm always impressed, because, as you know, Joe, I'm not teaching you anything in here. Most of these young guys get here and they're never strong enough for this level. They always need a year or two of the weight room before they're really adjusted. That move in that second sack, that was a big time veteran like move, dude, when he did that.
The thing that jumps out to me about Jalen Phillips, and he's tall, and he's a long strider, and he's strong, and he's fast. The amount of ground that he covers late in a developing play is really special. He tracked down the quarterback in the last game from a great distance. It's like when you watch those, animal channel things where the animals get their prey, and you're
Right.
like, how did that animal take down that other animal from so far away? It's like all of a sudden, boom, And
Yeah.
Josh Boyer, the defensive coordinator, talked about relentless pursuit. I love that. A lot of times I've been doing this like you, Big O. How many times have we been at the Senior Bowl or been at the Combine, and you see some guy who's a physical specimen, a workout warrior, 6'5", long arms, 4'5", at 265, and you're like, why did that guy only have 3 sacks as a
Right.
senior? And they say, well, he looks the part, but he doesn't have the motor.
Right.
The thing about Jalen Phillips, he looks the part and he has the motor. This is a
Yes.
guy with determination, will, desire. It matters to him. He's a smart guy. He's a thoughtful guy. As long as this guy stays healthy, man, he's going to be an unbelievable pick for Chris Greer at 18.
Yeah, yeah, no, and that first step that he has, I think really helps him because he has a quickness to him, cat quickness, and I think that's what you're talking about. How he just is able to make plays that way, and it's just a lot of fun to watch Jalen Phillips do what he's doing right now, man. 8.5 sacks with 4 games to go. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's going to be messing around with 11, 12 sacks this year, Joe.
And he's actually had a reduction in snaps in each of the last 2 games. So
Yes, yes, because
some
they're
of the
using it in
guys who
pass rush situations.
yeah,
Yeah,
some of
unleash
the
it.
guys who produce for the Dolphins on defense, you say, well, why aren't they getting more snaps? Like, for example, Zach Sealer. Well, the Dolphins have found a way to have Sealer on the field in situations in which they think he can maximize his talent. And they must also think that he can bring it with 10 fewer snaps than you or I might say he should be playing.
By the way, I was critical of this guy early, but I'll give him credit late. And since you watched the tape and the tape don't lie, I wasn't impressed with Adam Butler early on. You watch Adam Butler in the last month, and he's making plays for this team. Butler has been an improved, talking about Sealer, Butler's another one of those guys that plays in the same area, might be also another reason why Adam Butler's actually played better.
Yeah, Adam Butler has some really good pass rush moves. And when the Dolphins load up with a bunch of guys like Jalen Phillips and Jerome Baker, who's now playing more on the edge, and they bring that pressure, Butler is one of the guys who really, way more than like Devon Godshaw, who's a solid player, but more of a run stuffer. This is a guy who can swim past guards and centers and get sacks. And yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to have that interior pass rusher as opposed to just the run stuffer, which is obviously what the Dolphins want Raekwon Davis, for example, to be when he's on the field on first and second down.
Joe Schad, of course, joining us with our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins weekly report. And of course, you got to follow him on Twitter as Shad Joe. More importantly, please subscribe to the Palm Beach Post. And you can get the insider stuff that he puts out there also. Hal Habit also helps out with some of that inside stuff. You can read that there at the Palm Beach Post. Always some good nuggets there with all of that. Joe, when we look at this team right now and we look at the improvement overall, where is the part that at least for you need to see a little bit more of here down the stretch that maybe could make the difference in them possibly making the playoffs?
Well, you'd like to see continued improvement in the run game. It's been a real hard thing for the Dolphins to get the run game going at all. You'd like to see fewer pressures allowed, more traction in the running game from the offensive line group. And you'd like to see some more explosive plays. Tua Tagovailoa has had a few completions beyond 50 yards in recent weeks. And it's tough. We've been through this time and time again. There's not a lot of time to pass. Guys like Will Fuller and Devontae Parker haven't been in the lineup, and so there are reasons. But it would be pretty cool if we could see 2 or 3 passing plays of 20 yards or more in each of the final 4 games. That would be pretty cool to see.
All right, I'll let you go on this. My boy Brandon Jones, they didn't miss him last week. But he has done a really nice job of developing and making plays. Once he gets a little better in coverage, I think he's going to be one hell of a player. What do you know about his injury? Is there any chance that he comes back against the Jets this week?
I would think there is a chance that he can come back. It does not appear to be a very significant injury. We spoke to Brandon Jones as recently as last week. The Dolphins have the benefit of having such depth at safety that they could sit out Brandon Jones and give him an opportunity to get healthier. So, I just love the various combinations of defensive backs that the Dolphins can roll out there. And let's just take a minute to appreciate what Xavier Howard is and how fortunate the Dolphins are to have him. Another interception, picks in 2 straight games. He is back to form. He is back to 2020 Xavier Howard form. And that's great to see, man. That's a difference maker right there for the Dolphins defense.
They're making plays all over the place, man. The secondary and the front line, that defense is absolutely balling out. What are you working on here during the bye week so folks can check you out at the Palm Beach Post, my friend?
The one thing that Hal Habib and I have set up for Sunday, probably online Friday and in Sunday's newspaper, is fact or fiction, 10 topics on the Miami Dolphins. And I won't spoil it for you with the answers, but some of them are like, will Chris Greer and Brian Flores return in 2022? Will the Dolphins make dramatic changes on their offensive staff? All the things we talk about here on the A Dream Lending segment, the Weekly Insider Report that I enjoy doing with you, Big O. Check that out online Friday and in the newspaper on Sunday. 10 fact or fiction answers, including has Tua been so good that the Dolphins will no longer consider pursuing Deshaun Watson? So get the answer in Sunday's newspaper, Friday online.
How far down did you go to the Keys?
Just Key Largo. We were going to go to Isla Mirada, but we switched it up. We had to come to a pet-friendly resort due to the arrival of Tucker the puppy. So Tucker, nice. They gave Tucker a big bag with all sorts of treats and things. Nice. And Tucker's happy. My wife and daughter are happy to have Tucker here with them. I suspect I won't see them the entire weekend. They'll just be spending time with Tucker.
Yeah, no, Tucker is part of the family, bro. I got 5 of those kids at home, so I'm with you, bro. I totally get it. Hey, you better go to Ziggy and Mad Dogs, man. Go enjoy yourself a really nice dinner at Ziggy and Mad Dogs, man. Right there, was it mile marker 89 or 91 or something like that? Not bad, man.
We like Michael's. We like Fish House. There's a lot of good spots down here.
Yeah, Ziggy Mad Dogs is really good, man. They do
a
good
check
job.
It out.
All right, my brother. You be good. Thank you. Enjoy your vacation, my friend. We'll talk next week.
All right. Good to see you, bud.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad and our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.